For over 2 decades, the Harry Potter series has been brought to life in many different ways. Films, stage plays, video games, the upcoming HBO series, and of course, the audiobooks narrated by Stephen Fry and Jim Dale. But this November, Audible is doing something entirely new. A full audio dramatization of the books, complete with immersive sound design, an original score, and over 200 actors voicing the characters we know so well. Today, I'm going to take a deep dive into the announced cast so far, and explore what they've been in before, what they could bring to the roles that they are performing in, and how this ambitious project could redefine the way we experience Harry Potter in general. So let's get into it. Firstly, let's have a look at the announced cast for the adult roles, as I think there are some really interesting choices here. First up, it's the big one, Lord Voldemort, who is going to be portrayed by Matthew McFadden.
Harry Potter.
McFadden is coming off his critically acclaimed role as Tom Wambsgans in Succession, where he perfected the art of playing a man who's both pathetic and simultaneously terrifying. Voldemort is often portrayed with overt theatricality. Ralph Fiennes' performance is iconic, and his hissing, kind of snake-like delivery is unforgettable. But McFadden's strength, in my opinion, is his subtlety. I think his Voldemort could be quieter, more calculated, and this could be a really refreshing take. Imagine a Voldemort who doesn't need to raise his voice to instill fear in others. I mean, we never really saw him raise his voice in the books, as his cruelty is often delivered with cold precision instead of aggressive shouting. He also featured in Deadpool and Wolverine, where he played a character that wasn't necessarily a traditional villain. Paradox was a bureaucrat, frustrated by his stagnant position in the TVA, secretly longing for something grander, to be a supervillain essentially. Basically anything more exciting than pushing paper in an office. And McFadden himself described Paradox not as an evil villain, but as someone stuck in a system desperate to break free and be seen. Obviously Voldemort is completely evil, but it is interesting to see how McFadden views his own characters as being complex with many different layers. And it will be fascinating to see if he brings this more nuanced version of Voldemort to life. It's a risky angle, but if anyone can pull it off, it's him, in my opinion. Whether this performance makes it into the final cut remains to be seen, but it is a reminder that McFadden doesn't just play villains, he plays people, and that might be exactly what Voldemort needs to make this performance more unique. Before we go on, I hope you're enjoying the video, and if you are, please remember to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and hit the notification bell so you are updated when I bring out more Harry Potter updates. Next up is Hugh Laurie as Albus Dumbledore.
The truth. It is a beautiful and terrible thing.
Laurie is, of course, best known for his iconic role as Dr. House in House, but his career spans far beyond that, from the comedy series Blackadder to the dramatic weight of The Night Manager. What makes him such an interesting choice for Dumbledore, in my opinion, is his ability to balance both warmth and authority. Dumbledore is another complex character who is wise, enigmatic, sometimes manipulative, and of course he's always several steps ahead. Laurie certainly has the gravitas to pull that off, but also the twinkle of mischief that defines Dumbledore's lighter moments. Some fans might have wanted someone with a more classically mystical voice, like Ian McKellen or Patrick Stewart, but Laurie's casting suggests a Dumbledore who might feel more grounded, more human, which is definitely an interesting take. Perhaps the casting I am most excited about is Riz Ahmed as Severus Snape.
I can teach you how to bottle fame, brew glory, even stop a death.
Ahmed is incredible in my opinion, equally convincing in gritty dramas like The Night Of, sci-fi like Rogue One, and even psychological horror in The Sound of Metal. And he also stars in one of my all-time favourite comedies, if not one of my favourite movies of all time, Four Lions. I know we've talked a lot about characters being complex, but Snape is honestly the most complex character in the entire series. A man who's cruel, bitter, yet ultimately tragic. Ahmed definitely has the ability to convey that range of emotions and characteristics. His performances often do carry that quiet intensity. Obviously, a lot of people argue that Alan Rickman's portrayal is untouchable, and as we all know, there is a fair amount of unhappiness about the casting of Snape in the new HBO show. But Ahmed's interpretation could bring something entirely new. Less theatrical and more raw and emotional. Michelle Gomez as McGonagal is another interesting choice.
Welcome to Hogwarts.
She is best known for her roles in Doctor Who and The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, where she played characters who were occasionally stern, witty, and terrifying. McGonagal requires an actor that can balance that no-nonsense approach with discipline and dry humour, as well as care for her students. And Gomez excels at that kind of layered performance. Her Madam Satan in Sabrina was both intimidating and darkly funny, which feels like a great foundation for McGonagal. And then there's Cush Jumbo, who will serve as the series' narrator.
Harry Potter, like you've never heard it before.
Jumbo is a powerhouse. Her work in The Good Wife and The Beast Must Die showcases her ability to command attention with just her voice. Narrating an audiobook is legitimately an art form, and I think that Jumbo's biggest challenge is going to be to differentiate herself between Stephen Fry and Jim Dale's work, while still sticking to the warmth and the tone of the book's writing. Given her track record, I do think we're in safe hands with this one, and it's especially going to be interesting hearing the books being narrated by a female as opposed to the two males that we have already heard before. Okay, let's move on to the casting for the Golden Trio, because there are a couple of big talking points regarding this. So for the first 3 books, Harry, Ron and Hermione will be played by Frankie Treadaway.
I don't go looking for trouble. Trouble usually finds me.
Max Lester.
Follow the spiders. I'll never forgive Hagrid. We're lucky to be alive.
And Arabella Stanton.
Because all has been killed, or worse, expelled.
Stanton is particularly interesting because if you've been paying attention to the news, she has also been cast as Hermione in the upcoming HBO series, meaning this will be our first taste of her take on the character. Treadaway and Lester are relative unknowns, but I don't think that's a massive issue. The trio should sound like real kids, not overly polished child actors, in my opinion. Their performances will likely feel more natural, which honestly is a real strength. Starting from The Goblet of Fire, the roles then transition to Jackson Knopf as Harry, Rhys Mulligan as Ron, and Nina Barker Francis as Hermione. It's a smart approach in my opinion, casting younger voices for the earlier lighter books and then older voices as the books become darker. So in general, with over 200 actors, Dolby Atmos sound design, an original score, this isn't just going to be an audiobook, it's an audio experience. The goal seems to be something akin to a high-budget radio drama where the world feels alive around you. That's a massive undertaking. Stephen Fry and Jim Dale's performances are so beloved because of its simplicity, one voice carrying the entire story. This new version is going for something entirely different. Immersion over intimacy. Will it work? Depends on the execution, really. If the sound design is too intrusive, it could distract us from the story, but if it's done right, it could make the magic feel more alive than forever. And of course, this is just the beginning. We're still waiting for characters like Sirius Black, Lupin, and the entire Weasley family. So who would you want to hear in those parts? Personally, I'd love someone like James McAvoy as Lupin, because he can do that kind of haunted vulnerability perfectly. For Hagrid, we could do something similar to Arabella Stanton and get our first taste of Nick Frost in the role. In general, this project is really exciting in my opinion, because I absolutely love the audiobooks. The cast so far is great, and the ambition behind it could really redefine what an audiobook is. So what do you think? Are you excited for this new portrayal, or do you just prefer the classic narration? You can let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this update, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more Harry Potter updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.